Rizzo, and welcome to My Only Friends. On today's episode, I sit down with Michiel Franklin. He is a gifted actor and beautiful human from the inside out. Michiel is my voice of reason on a day-to-day basis, and in this episode, you will understand why. This episode reminds me of the Friends episode, the one with the butt. Joey gets his first big break by playing Al Pacino's butt, then gets fired from overthinking in the moment. The rest of the friends lift him up, and Phoebe tells Joey, I don't think this was your shot. I don't think you really just get one shot. And I really believe big things are going to happen for you. And you have to keep thinking about the day that some kid is going to run up to his friends and say, I got the part. I'm going to play Joey Tribbiani's ass. Okay, so I know this sounds silly, but it reminds me of all the conversations Michiel and I have to motivate each other in our acting careers. It also relates because Michiel is now in a time of his career taking off, and now we are having those moments of, remember when we were couch surfing and now you're working alongside Oscar winners? It's just really inspiring to see Michael's hard work pay off and how grateful he is for the friendships in his life that have helped him get there. Please enjoy my conversation with my favorite, Michiel Franklin. Hi, Michiel.
How you doing? I look crazy.
No, you don't. You always say that. Every time we take a picture together, first thing you say is, I look crazy.
I know. I need a filter.
You realize nobody can see this.
I need a walk around life filter.
Shh. Get out of here.
Like, you don't recognize me? I look like my filter.
Well, see, half these girls are filtering themselves so much when you see them in person, you're like, who are you?
See, exactly.
You don't want that.
Yeah. Like, who are you? It makes you a filter.
Hi. Wait, so I have to start off with that I met Matthew Perry today.
Oh, so I was wondering what that was.
Yeah. So I am so sleepy because I woke up my sleep patterns have been terrible lately, but I woke up at like 6:30, which is usually the middle of the night for me. And then I could usually like put Friends back on and go back to sleep for another few hours, but I knew I had to be up in like an hour and a half. So I was like, whatever, let me just get up. Got ready, drove down to the Grove. And luckily there was like, I wasn't the only crazy person who was like, I need to get in early. Like a line was already formed, and it was like it was a meet and greet with Matthew Perry and a book signing. And it was so weird because I've never been to like there's Comic-Con for like Star Wars and like people who really love certain things, and like fan meetups for a lot of these different like Marvel and DC and all those things, but there's not a whole lot of things for Friends fans. So I've never really been in a group of other people who are as obsessed with Friends as I am. And it was interesting because I thought some people were going to want to go like toe to toe, like compete almost. I did this with Friends and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? Yeah. But it wasn't like that. And I ended up becoming friends with this girl behind me who her name happened to be Jen. And it was just like, it was really sweet. It's always really sweet. Like I think back, like I have friends that I met at a Katy Perry concert that I'm still really close friends with just because we were in the crowd together. Like I just love when it's like a shared, we all love the same thing. Yeah. But it was I wasn't nervous until we started getting closer. And then, so I wrote him a letter because I was like, look, when I met Jennifer Aniston, when I met Courtney Cox, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. And I knew I was going to be meeting him. So I was like, let me write this out and give it to him. Cause I did that I sound so crazy. I did that with Rami Malek when I was like going to Q&As for like Bohemian Rhapsody and like his SAG-AFTRA stuff. And he read it and he remembered me when he saw me and like was like, I read your letter when I was on the plane. So I was like, you know what? Let me just write this letter for Matthew Perry and just like at least be able to tell one of them how much Friends means to me, because I don't know if I'll ever get that chance again. I mean, God willing, I will, and we'll work together.
You will.
But it was so funny because I was just like so giddy and like I handed him my letter and I was like, like my hand was shaking so bad. And it's so funny because in all the pictures, I'm like, you guys, I swear it's the same energy. He's like, I'm looking at the camera and he's looking at me like smiling because he's probably like, this girl, like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's not a game. She is in love. And this is very much real.
Yes. So what did you do today? That was my big adventure today.
Well, I went to the gym. My brother woke me up really, really early so I couldn't go back to sleep. So I went to the gym early, and then I got like a little email from yesterday that I had to take care of. So handled that. Mm-hmm. And then I have an audition. So I'm a little excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but yeah, I'm happy. You know, sometimes just the happiness of actually auditioning. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people don't really feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It feels like work for me. Like, I'm working. I get to work.
Well, that's totally what it is. I mean, you and I, we should let everybody know that you and I talk so much outside of this, like every single day, FaceTime. Every single day. So we talk a lot about these things of like, you say congratulations to me when I get an audition, as if it's like, because it is a big deal, because look, there's a bunch of people who are submitted to this project who very much would love to have the opportunity that you're getting right now. And you're getting the chance to be seen and be heard by somebody new or the same office or whatever it is. Definitely. And it's a chance to work and act and collaborate with a friend if they're your reader. Like, that is what we're out here to do. So I think when people complain about auditions, like, yes, when I have to do an audition and it's due the next day, pain in the ass. Don't want to, like, I'm like, oh my gosh. But then once I'm in the act of doing it, I'm like, oh God, I feel so good. And there's nothing better than when you submit your audition and it's done.
Confirm.
Yep.
You're like, oh my God, that's done. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm ready for another one. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I did that. And then after the audition, came home, made something to eat because I was starving. And now we're here. You're so funny. It's funny because I think you and I, like, going off of this like whole Matthew Perry thing, my aunt had texted me and was like, talk about somebody who's determined. Like, if you want something, you will do it. And I think it's a lot about manifesting, which you and I talk about a lot of, like, I will be an A-list actor. I am an A-list actor. Mm-hmm. I am a working actor. Yeah, that's, you know what? Like, I was talking to my mom earlier and like, we were talking about how words are powerful. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, when you speak against yourself and you say different things that are against what you ultimately want, you kind of are self-sabotaging. Mm-hmm. And like, we were going back and forth and I was like, yeah, she's like, you know, words are powerful. What you say out of your mouth manifests in front of you. What you say out of your mouth gives life to whatever situation that you're going through. Mm-hmm. So be careful of the words that you use.
Absolutely. And I'm a strong believer in that. And I talk about it ad nauseum on here about my 300 list. But it's like, when I keep saying these things, like, no, I have this. All my bills are paid. I have this. I am this. I slowly start going throughout my day, like, check, 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 because it is the power of your mind. And if, you know, you sit there and think, oh, I have no money, I can't do this, I can't do this, then you're only going to be attracting more situations that will confirm that that is true.
Keep you broke. Mm-hmm. More situations that keep you not working or keep you unhealthy. Mm-hmm. So be careful what you say. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too, where you have always been the type of person, whenever I'm having those hard times, you go, you got through it before, you're going to get through it again. And when you and I are in those situations where we're like, we don't know what our next move is, we ultimately are always like, but we know how to handle it. We know it's going to be over soon. We could keep it moving. Give yourself the day and keep it moving.
Yes. That was another thing that I forgot which actors that said, it's like, we're afraid of the thing that's in the future and we hold on to the past, but we rarely live in the moment. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the best thing to do is live moment to moment and not be so stressed out about the thing that's, I don't know, 10 days ahead or that happened to you years ago that's stunting this moment in itself.
Right.
Going to work out for you. And also, words are powerful. So speak that it's going to work out for you.
Exactly.
And it will work out for you. Ultimately, I mean, that's my philosophy.
Yeah, you're totally right. And let's just like start off with saying that you are fucking killing it right now. Like you are. No, you are. And like the other day when you called me with good news, we won't say what it is because we can't yet.
Not yet.
But I was walking around like I just booked it. I was walking around like, okay, well, you don't even know that my friend Michael is about to be in this. Like, you don't even know. Like, I was like, I had a pep in my step. Like, your wins are my wins. My wins are your wins.
And that's, you know what? Here I go with the, you know what?
Say it.
And that's why it's important to have a circle around you that supports you, believe in you, and gives energy and life to the things that you think are important. Mm-hmm. And just the fact that you said that makes me happy. Mm-hmm. I was having several moments of like just telling certain people like bits and pieces, not to see their reaction, just because you also kind of have a fear of, what if they don't give it, you know, mm-hmm. Or what if they don't care? And, you know, like I've been pressing myself to get out of that and just go, okay, focus on the people who are around me and the people who care what I'm doing and are happy. Mm-hmm. You know, there's really people who watch you who don't want to see you, not to turn this negative, but who don't want to see you succeed, or they don't feel as happy when you book something. They feel like it's a competition. Mm-hmm. But when you have people who support you, like you, but you got people that support you and care about what you care about, like the only thing that it does is move you forward faster. And say, you know, down the road, you call me for a project and I want to be there to support you and get excited for you and mm-hmm. things that you have going. Even this podcast, you know, like this, I was at home for Thanksgiving talking to my mom. And I was like, yeah, my friend started a podcast. Oh she's like, you started a podcast? I was like, yeah, she started a podcast. I was like, I'm telling you, Mom, you know, like my circle, you know, not to like.
Yeah, no, like, but it's true. Like you have to, you always say iron sharpening iron. That's our friendship.
Iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. It makes you better. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I even brought it up to my mom is because she was so curious about the people in LA. Mm-hmm. And you hear so many rumors about people being in bad circles or different things happening to people who are in bad circles. Mm-hmm. And I was just trying to confirm to her that I have a sharp, solid, talented circle and mm-hmm. who are happy with the things that happen for me.
Yes.
And I am happy for you as well. But
yeah.
I can talk. You know I am.
No, well, that's what this is for. To talk. But it's so true because I think people have this preconceived notion that people from LA are a certain way. And like, look, the majority of us in our friend group, not a lot of us are actually from LA proper. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, you know, game night, for example, if somebody who hasn't known us for the past 10 years walks in that door, all of you guys are so welcoming to them. And you would think that they have known us all for 10 years. Like right. there's no status. There's no, oh, you're not an actor. Oh, you're an actor too. Nobody's sizing each other up. It's all, everybody's an equal. And like I was telling you, that's one thing. If I can say I'm super proud of something, it's the friendships that I have, because we're all so well connected and we've all really always been there for each other. And
that's partly because of, well, not even part of the majority because of you. I feel like you bring good people and good energy. So, you know, like, I don't know why it's like a weird thought, but I was watching this dog, like the bad dog, where it's the trainer who trains the dogs. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, say if one dog is a bad actor and, you know, like tearing up stuff and don't know how to get into the pack and assimilate, mm-hmm. put that one dog around a solid base foundation of great dogs, mm-hmm. and that dog falls into what right. they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And, you know, like, okay, for example, you didn't bring nobody bad around us. They were amazing. Mm-hmm. But if they were not, and you're still the type of person that sees some good in somebody, mm-hmm. and you bring them in and they grow and they just assimilate and fall. It's easy. You know what I mean? Brittany likes them, then there's something about you that we're going to love.
Right. Right.
Friendship circle.
Yeah. It's like you, but it's true. It goes back to you are what you hang out with, period.
How?
And that's it.
You are what you eat. You are what you hang out with.
Yep. Yeah. So I want you to tell people a little bit about yourself, because don't look all shocked, because look, a lot of my guests who come on here are all people I know in real life who happen to be successful at acting or singing or, you know, what have you, or like that have something really special going on at the moment. And I forget that I know all about you guys, but people who are just meeting you through this podcast, they don't. So I want to talk a little bit about what brought you to LA and how you made the decision to say, I'm going to be an actor.
Wow, that journey. Well, let's start off with who I am. I am Michael Franklin, born and raised in Oakland, California, by way of Stockton, Bay Area kid. I moved here to LA to originally, I wanted to act, but I just didn't see it happening for me. And one of my talents was dancing, which I kind of like don't tell people. I don't tell people about, but I came out here. I went to my friend was like, oh, let's go to an audition. Went to a random audition and ended up signing with a dance agent. And I really at the time didn't know what that meant, but to see certain people who didn't get signed or saying, oh my God, they put so much energy into the fact that I got signed to an agent that it was like, oh, wait, wow, I think this is a good thing. My agent was like, hey, we're going to need you to move to LA. I was like, okay, yeah, I was thinking about that next year. It's like, oh, no, we need you here next month. I packed up everything, threw it in storage, and I came out here to dance and wanted to act, just didn't feel like it was going to ever happen. During my dance career out here, signed to an agent, working professionally now. I work with Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Destiny's Child.
You worked with Debbie Allen.
Which
is like, that's the cream of the crop. You work with Debbie Allen and Beyonce. What else you got to do?
Hey, well, a lot. No, well, so that opened my eyes as far as being in the industry and like understanding rejection and the hustle of the game and finding out that things you want to do and imagination and fantasies that, that people take as fantasies, dreams come true, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I got the inkling, I want to act. And I was like, at the time, being that I had like a resume of famous people, I guess you can say, I was able to like start teaching one-on-ones with different artists and actors or movement for actors who wanted to do dance productions. Mm-hmm. And this actor, Julian Asodia, he introduced me to an acting class and I was bit. Yeah. Yeah, bit by the bug, and I can say Murder, She Wrote. That was the end of it. Mm-hmm. I was in improv classes and scene study classes and, boxing classes, everything that I thought I needed. But I was in all these classes, and here I am now, several years later. I feel like I'm doing some work. You are one. You shouldn't feel like you're doing some work. You are doing some work. I mean, you've done 911 Lone Star. You've done Atypical. You've done Euphoria. You've done, what's the one you just did with Octavia Spencer? Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told has been the biggest blessing, I'd say, for you in the past year or two. Yeah. You have Lady in the Lake coming out. Yes.
Working alongside Natalie Portman, Oscar winner Natalie Portman. I mean, yeah, I feel like you're working on some things too. Like, but
well, like, you put it like that, it sounds so much more. No, it sounds.
But it's true. But it's true, and I think sometimes it takes somebody telling you these things. You know, my girlfriend was over here, and we were like both got done off work, and we just had a really long day. And I was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, like I can't complain because I woke up, I did errands, I worked, I got an audition, I had dinner with a friend. Like when you list it all off, it's like, oh yeah, that was a really good day. I have a lot to be grateful for. Yeah. So it's like, you know, when you really get some perspective and look back at what you have done only in the past couple years, that's huge, and you're killing it. And we can go on and on for hours about how happy I am for you, but we already know this. But it is just interesting when I look back, though, like you and I met in an acting class. I was sleeping on your couch at one point, and because I was like needed to be out of the place that I was living in, and I was sleeping on your couch across from Desmond on the other couch. I mean, it's just funny to look back and think about, like, yeah, I know to think about everything like we've been through, and like we're getting to those moments of like, remember when this, and now you're going to be in so-and-so's movie. Like we're getting to those moments that we've been dreaming of.
Well, when you put it in that, when we put it in that way, definitely. I just got a flashback of you laying on the couch. Oh, yeah. You see, and now I'm on your podcast.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about it when you do. So was there a specific actor when you were transitioning from dance, which by the way, you're an incredible dancer. And I know that you don't love talking about it. Maybe you can explain why you don't love talking about it, but if you want to move on, we can move on.
No, I can talk about it.
Okay, so why is it that you don't want to ever let people know you're this incredible, trained, well-traveled dancer?
I think for the longest time, I was having a conversation with a friend. We had like similar, I guess,
trajectories.
Yeah, we were going for the same thing, similar trajectories. And we were just talking about how we don't want to talk about our dance life because sometimes when you work with like stars at a super high caliber, it overshadows the work that you're putting in as an actor. So like, okay, if I say, yeah, I was on stage with Beyonce or Mariah Carey, people will gravitate towards Mariah Carey. You're a dancer.
Right.
Which is great. I love dancing. I still dance to this day. I still will dance. But when you've put like 5 years into taking classes and improv, or you've been, went through a Meisner course of 3 years or whatever, like that you've actually trained to do this other thing. When Mariah Carey comes and overshadow it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, let me just not talk about dance at all, so you can instantly take me on serious as an actor. One, and then two, earlier in my dance career, when I was transitioning to just acting, I signed with this management, and she was, I guess, pitching me for a project. And at the time, like I've done a lot of dance where that casting director that she pitched me to already knew who I was as a dancer. So she's like, oh, we know him. He's a dancer, right? Dance actor. And when I got that feedback, I was like, never again.
Because you feel like they don't take you as serious as an actor.
Right. Not until you do something of a certain status where they go, oh, he's an actor dancer. When we say dancer actor, it's the dance overshadows any work. Well, for me personally, it overshadowed all my studying.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know I'm always one of those people that I'm like, just dance. Like, you're so good. And like, I'm like, work is work. But now when you put it that way, it totally makes sense when you're like so focused on acting and your career is going up, 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 up. Like, why would you then go dance?
Yeah.
I get that. So all that to say, what I was going to ask you was like, was there a specific moment in a movie or a TV show or an actor where you were like, that's what I want to do?
Oh, wow. Several moments. Color Purple. I mean, I'll just list the movies that inspired me. X-Men. I'm an animated series guy. X-Men, Color Purple, Five Heartbeats, Denzel Washington. So many like things that like when I started, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I wish I had powers. I can use that. I wish I can control the wind. You know, all these things I think in combination led me to this point where I can live in a fantasy and do whatever I want and get lost in a character and have fun.
Right. Now, that being said, though, because your show that you chose is X-Men. And with everything you just said, also, I was having this thought while I was watching the X-Men cartoons last night. I was like, Michael was probably the little boy that was playing pretend like, like maybe I could totally see it because you still are that way. Like when you help me with auditions, you are so good at creating the world around and helping me visualize and actually being in, like, I'm in the lookout car. I am the cop. I am seeing the house across the way. Like, and yes, that's all things that actors should do in general, but you have such a good imagination and this childlike imagination that you haven't lost as you've grown up, which I think is super admirable.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was the guy with I don't know if they have, I'm going to age myself a little bit, but I would take the remote around my arms and I would change the channel with my special abilities.
Oh my God, I love that.
And you know, one of the things now with so I would go outside when it was super, super windy, almost like where you feel like you'll get blown away. And I would raise my hands up and control the wind. And even now to this day, like if I really, really want to feel amazing, I'll watch X-Men. If it's windy or if I want to clear my mind, go to the gym but on the way to the gym, roll the windows down and on the freeway, how the wind blows. I feel so powerful and so strong. And then once I get to the gym, instead of playing music, I'll watch X-Men episodes.
I love that. I absolutely love, this is what this podcast is about. Like everybody has something so different that makes them feel a certain way. And the fact that that's how you also hold on to your, not innocence, but your childlike wonder in a sense, like, and that helps your imagination. And it also brings you back to feeling like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like when you feel like you don't have control on a situation, that's when you tap into those because then you feel powerful.
Exactly. I tap into stories about Storm, who I am in love with if you ever go to my Instagram page. Jean Grey, which I think you may have seen that episode. I'm not sure.
Yes, I watched it last night.
And Dark Phoenix. Like anytime I feel low or it's like, you know, something where it's starting to feel overwhelmed, I feel overwhelmed. I would X-Men, Spider-Man, Superman, all the men, Batman, Wonder Woman.
I was gonna say, can we get some estrogen up in there?
Wonder Woman, Storm, Rogue.
The episode that you told me to watch, I really liked because it was like all the friends had to give up a part of themselves in order to save their friend.
You know, back to the iron sharpens iron. And having a powerful friendship circle around you to support your dream and your vision matters and counts. That specific episode, I kind of like watch it over and over and over. Especially if I'm feeling like lonely, which is a weird thing because I never really feel lonely. I'm a homebody and I feel great. But that moment where I feel lonely, I kind of throw that episode on. I feel like I'm exposing myself. I'm exposing myself.
We're here, baby.
We're here. Okay, so that specific episode, Jean Grey is taken over by all her powers, and she's starting to create damage and be destructive. And she like makes it up in her mind that she wants to end it all for herself. So you have to go to the actual specific episode to get it. But she turns on all the machines telepathically, and it fires on her. But the entity, the Phoenix, is so strong in her that it doesn't die. It's just she loses her body, her physical form. Her friendship circle, Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, all these animated characters. But her friendship circle, the Phoenix says, okay, Jean Grey's body is no more and she is non-existent. But to bring her back, the only way would be to take a flame away from someone else to bring her back to life, which means I'll trade my life for yours. So everybody's like, I'll trade. You know, all her friends are like, take me and bring her back alive. And the Phoenix makes an offer. She says, well, I can take bits and pieces from every one of you and bring her back.
I loved that.
That's what they do. So they all share bits and pieces of themselves to bring her back to 1,000. The reason why that specific episode touched me is because like all your friends are your friends, and you're not going to be at 100 with everybody. You know, you might go to Brittany when you need to vent or feel like she's going to cater to you like a little baby. Or you might go to, you know, an actor friend of mine, Chad or something, if I want to get the opposite of what I'm thinking, but in a strong, powerful way. And any other friends.
Right. Bits
and pieces of every one of your friends are things that are going to sharpen and bring you back to 1,000. Here's the reason why I'm talking about the episode. I can go on and on about this episode, but
go for it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think that why it touches me is because like I've built my specific circle of actors and non-actors and real 9-to-5ers is what I call them. But everyone holds a piece of me that when I get low, I can go to and get fulfilled.
I love that. I'm going to cry. That is so sweet and like so beautifully said, because like that episode was like, I was getting real into it. By the way, I've never watched it, but I think growing up, I had a friend who had 3 brothers. So I'm sure I watched some of it along the way because it wasn't unfamiliar to me. But I do love that, like that's how I look at the Friends cast. That's what they do for each other. You know, when one's down, the rest of them all surround the other one and help. I wanted to ask, which one out of the X-Men, who are you and who am I?
You are Rogue, definitely.
Wait, tell me why, because I don't know. I don't remember which one Rogue was.
So Rogue, she's the southern.
Oh, the southern one. Okay.
Yeah, she's the most powerful.
Oh shit.
She's the most sensitive, and she takes on she has the power to take on other people's abilities with touch. And she absorbs it for a while, and then she loses it once it goes back to them.
Wow, you didn't even have to think twice.
No, definitely. You're Rogue. For me. And
it checks out.
She's super sweet, but at the same time, she's a badass. She's super powerful and super strong. So for me, you'll be my Rogue. Because
I'm happy to be a Rogue. And who do you identify with out of them?
Now, I'm a gender swap this a little bit.
Totally fine.
I wouldn't necessarily be Jean. I'll probably be the male Storm.
Yeah.
If Storm was a male, because I feel like her powers are the elements: rain, lightning, wind, ice, snow. And she walks around in super, super control. But if she was to ever release control, and all her powers and abilities will create tsunamis and rainstorms and all kind of stuff. But she's super gifted.
No, I totally see that, because you are very controlled in a lot of things. But like you said, you're very powerful. So when you unleash that, watch out. Watch out. Yeah.
So yes, and she's the adult in the room. Like, because she's mastered the ability to keep everything calm and cool and relaxed. But once she does extend herself, she extends herself to, I won't say the maximum, but she falls out quickly. And she needs her friends to support her.
Right.
And me, like personality wise, like a lot of people see me as strong. I feel like a lot of people see me as the adult in the room or going to have some level of wisdom. But I do get weak as well. And there's an inner storm that I try to control sometimes. And with me and Storm, once you've released it and let it all out and let everything just go and rage and go, there's a certain level of peace that comes. Yeah. But I don't want to talk too much. I'll leave Storm out.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. And I think it's very telling of who you are as a person. And I think that's why I love asking that question so much of like, you know, who do you see yourself in? Or when was the first time you saw yourself in a character?
You know what? Okay, here we go again with the X-Men. So one of the first pilot episodes that was on TV is Professor X, the leader of the X-Men. And then it's Wolverine. At the time, which is so weird, like I saw myself as Wolverine, like super abilities, to heal quickly, ferocious, knives come out of my hands, like ready to tear somebody apart over my friends or anybody that affected my friends. Back then, like for me, like my earlier childhood, I was the friend who wanted to protect and fight everybody.
Same.
Yeah, I was like,
but the difference between you and I is like you have like 2 feet on me. So I had that same energy, but like, you know, little pipsqueak. Like I'll never forget. There was one girl, we ended up becoming friends because I was like, if you want to get to her, you're going to have to go through me. And she was like, oh, I fuck with that. And then we became friends.
And that's me. That especially back then. And I feel like I could take on anything and heal quickly. So I would take up the fight for my friends, which kind of like made me popular, but at the same time, infamous. At the time.
Yeah.
But I've quieted down a little bit and more controlled to my Storm form.
Yeah, I can see that. And look, there's so many times you've come to my defense, and we always talk about loyalty and how important loyalty is to us. So I really, it all checks out. It all checks out that these are the people that you like gravitate to. It's funny because while I was watching it, the theme song, every time it went on, I was thinking it was whatever you want from me.
Yes, Whitney.
Doesn't it sound like that? Okay, tell me that's not. I'm your baby tonight. I thought that's what it was. I was like, wait, why do I have Whitney Houston stuck in my head all night long? And then I heard the I was like, oh, who ripped off who in this situation? Every time I heard the theme song, I was just kept singing "I'm Your Baby," and then it was just interesting because I was having the thought of like watching cartoons as an adult. There's something about it that just feels amazing when you're like, I'm a grown ass woman, I'm a grown ass man, I'm in my apartment, and I've got cartoons on, and it feels great. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it brings you back to that time of your childhood and it's that escape, or if it just makes you feel more connected to who you have always been at your core.
I think a bit of both. Like I do have certain memories, like when I'll be feeling emotional. When I was younger, my grandmother would She would get a big bag of Oreos and some milk, and she would run my cartoons back to back to back. And like, I remember like just feeling secure, I guess.
Yeah.
Feeling safe, feeling it's all right. It's going to get better. I'm supported. I don't know. It's like all these different things would come up for me watching it back then. Now, like I was just watching cartoons right before this podcast. Before the podcast, I was just watching cartoons. And for me, it brings, what's the word? It's like, I can do anything.
Right.
And I don't know, I can't really put into words how that like connects, but watching Spider-Man, watching X-Men, right now I'm still watching X-Men, watching Iceman, all these different, like I literally have them on rotation back to back to back. And anything that's new that's coming out, even like Marvel stuff, like far as, the new Marvel stuff, because that is also Marvel, not to get real nerdy about it, but like even some of the new stuff with Iron Man and everything, like as an adult watching it, I just feel safe and secure. And, the problems that I'm having during that day really don't matter because I've checked out and checked into this world.
Yes. I
guess that will probably be it. I check out of whatever stress is going on in my day to day. And I check into Iron Man's building a ship.
Right. Right. But it's funny because it's like in my rogue ways of X-Men, when I do take on energies easily. And whenever I watch a Marvel movie, when I tell you, I think all of a sudden I could fight an army of 25 people after I watch that movie. Like after I saw Black Widow, I was like, that movie, if I'm being honest, scared me. It got a little dark for me. I'm a baby. We all know I'm a baby. And it got a little dark for me. But like when I watched like, the Avengers and especially, the Captain America and like Civil War, I loved Civil War. That was like intense and I loved it mostly for Sebastian Stan. But it was one of those things where you feel like I could fight for my friends. I could throw down. I could do this. I'm powerful. Like you take on that energy.
Side note, even with Thor Ragnarok, it's a song in there. I believe it's
Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. So it's this scene where Thor doesn't have the hammer, and he's talking to his dad in a vision, his father, the god of gods. But he says, "Are you the god of hammers, or are you the god of, I believe, lightning, whatever that that is?" And out of the, he flashes out of the vision, and all his power is just light, and I'm like, and then the music kicks in. It's that, it's part of that as well.
Yeah.
Same for the animation. It's part of that as well. Like the music, the sound, the energy, the world that you get lost in. It kind of makes you feel like what I'm going through, I can do this. I'm powerful.
Right.
I can handle this.
Right.
But
with all that, you have been on set with a lot of big names in the past couple of years. And how do you turn your fear into your performance? Do you channel any of those characters, or are you like, okay, this is my moment?
Wow.
I think I remember, was it 911 when you were like, you flubbed the line and you were like, okay, Michael, you can do this.
You know what? There we go. Yes. Oh my God. I forgot about that one. Oh, yes. Oh my God. Yeah. So on 911, I had a scene of all the series regulars cast and went through once, action. And it's like, this leads into that, leads into that, leads into the other thing, which I was like, okay, cool. Nailed it. All right. Back to one. Action. This leads into that. That leads into this. This person crosses over. You walk out. You say your line. Boom. Nailed it. Okay. All right, this I think they switched cameras and take a second, and I was like I had a moment where I got in my head and I checked out, and I was just kind of like paying attention to everything else. I had like literally checked out, and okay, back to one, action. Okay, this person crosses over, you walking down the pathway. This person crosses you, and you deliver your line, and I lost it, forgot the line, gone. I was like, oh my God, not with everybody watching me. And I was like, okay, so back to one. And I know it was my fault. I was like, okay, action. We do everything, same thing. Line is gone. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm losing this line twice. And, fast forward back to one, the scripty comes over. Hey, so this is your line right here.
Oh, no.
Mortified. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, yeah. Being real professional. Okay, got it. So back to one, action. And I had like a little bit of time to check in and Professor exit. And here we go with the animation. To Professor exit, send out a telepathic wave that I need help.
And I was like, I got you. I feel you.
So Rob, now that I'm saying this, what's his last name?
Lowe, Rob Lowe.
Okay. Rob Lowe, right? In the scene, like we kind of make eye contact. And he gives me kind of like, it's okay, like telepathically.
Oh, so I want Rob Lowe to look at me and tell me it's okay. Shit.
Yeah, it was like a telepathic, you got this. And I was like, and I was picked up on it. I was checked in.
Yeah.
And delivered the line. I was like, boom, nailed it. I was like, okay, yeah. I'm a professor. This again.
I love that.
Started back up, action, go through it all. And I was like, okay. Professor X came through that day. That was the character who I telepathically reached out and said, help. And Rob turned to me and gave me, you got this. And I was able to deliver the line and not be embarrassed by the whole cast. So, yeah.
I love that. I think that's so, it's just fun. Well, it's fun to hear because I think too, like, when you're auditioning a lot and you get to set and it's a completely different ball game. And then you question like, oh shit, can I do this? And then you have to tap into that strength and that mindset of like, yes, I can do this. And even though none of my friends are here right now with me, I got to figure out how they can be. And everyone was there for me. So you and I have a lot, like, look, I think, acting will work out, but if it didn't, if you needed a side job, like motivational speaker would be top.
Thank you.
There's not a single time I'm going through something and you're not the first phone call. Cause I'm like, I need you to get me out of this. Where do you think that comes from?
Failure. Well, let me not say failure.
Trial and error.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because you never fail unless you give up.
Yep.
And I've never given up. But I think that comes from being able to control the things you can control and to not try to control the things that are not in your power. Also, that comes from it's this thing that happens when you try to do something or you're doing something that is a dream for everybody else. And the only person that holds the flame is yourself. So I've learned to defend and protect myself and protect my flame to push through. And with that push through comes the wisdom that not everything is going to always be like you intend or like you planned, and to understand that it's okay. And I just try to translate that to the next person. Like, oh my God, I messed up this audition and I don't know, I need that. Look, it's okay. You're probably a blink in that person's like thought for that one moment that you messed up the word the and the, and it's all right. For me, like, I think I've always had an old soul, but it's also the people that I've put around me
Yeah.
Like, I feel like every last one of my friends hold, and here I go with the flame, hold a specific ability and talent and wisdom that I need for that situation, you know? And like, even when I was younger, like it was 2 to 3 best friends, which ended up growing completely to 5. But my friendship circle, like they just had a certain level of things that they went through specifically that was designed just for them, that when it came time for me to pull from them, they were knowledgeable in that one situation. They probably don't know nothing else,
right?
But they were knowledgeable in that one situation, which helped me.
Right.
So yeah, I just try to like combine and take everything from each friend, and whatever situation presents itself for my friend who's in need, I try to translate it if I have it. Right. And if I don't, we work it out together.
I love you.
I love you more.
That was so well said. If we don't, we work it out together. Yes. And we always do work it out together. I have to be careful on the podcast sometimes of not turning it into like a love fest. Like how much I just love all my friends. But
and I'm here trying to be professional and not laugh. So
girl,
but it's you.
I know. I'm like, you know, and you had said something to me that I wanted to say has stuck with me ever since, is calling you as blowing up your phone. And I was like, they don't support me and they don't believe in me. And you were like, but do you believe in you? And then you had also said, I also believe in you the way I believe in myself. And you said that to me. And I was like, that's probably the highest compliment I'll ever get from Michael, because no one believes in themselves more than you, which is incredible. Because not to say that you shouldn't, it's just incredible how much you believe and you know you're going to do well, and you have. And I think if anybody's listening to this, that's what they could take away from it, is how to put your blinders on, not listen to anybody else, and believe in yourself so fucking much that other people can't stand it. Like, because the right people will go, shoop, I'm going to that light. And that will be your circle of irons sharpening irons.
They literally fall off. But yeah, for me, I feel like that comes from a little bit from my father as well, which is once you say no, or you say you can't do it, even if I felt like I couldn't, it's like this thing, this fire, this flame that's just boiling, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Back then. Now I've learned to, like you said, put your blinders on. Like, everybody's path is different. No one is a specialist to how to get from A to B. Like, no one in this career of acting, in this arena of acting. And to say that, you know, this person they know that you need to do this, and that to be successful. That's not always true, because I've seen people go to series regulars from a co-star, and I've seen co-stars stay co-stars for the rest of their career. So far, they haven't given up, so it's not failure. And I've seen major movie stars and some of my friends go and do, like, you know, recurring co-star guest stars. The thing about it is how you start and your specific way, and the steps and the trials that you have for you. No one really is a specialist on that. Like, they don't know. They try, but they really don't know. So if someone doesn't know your specific way to be, or your specific way to become successful, then you can't really listen to what they have planned in their head for your life.
Right.
But if I want to be an actor and I'm listening to this person say, first you have to do a co-star, then you have to do a guest star, then you recur maybe, and then they might consider you for a series regular. And then, you know, you living your life like, I need a co-star. Oh my God. Well, I'm not going to make it until I get a co-star. And yeah, we all want to work. We all want to do co-stars. It's great. That's, you know, fine and dandy. But I've seen people go from TikTok and, you know, be a series regular. Or I've seen people who were funny on Instagram, and now you have your own comedy show, and now you got the Emmy for it.
Right.
So there's no specific path. What I've learned to do is take what you need from whoever it is, like whatever they say that benefits you, and then throw out what is not necessary, or throw out what is negative. And whatever that negative is determined by you.
Right.
With your inner core, with your inner flame.
Right. And you are always somebody who says what is for you is for you. Like, I know when I get upset that I don't have this audition, or why didn't I go out for this, or I didn't book this, and you always say what's for you is for you, and it will not miss you. What's for you is for you, and it will come and knock at your door. Mm-hmm. What you need to do is make sure you have your bags packed. I say there's a lot of things that are for people, but at the same time, they don't prepare themselves to ready to leave. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, how do you get prepared to leave? Are you taking acting classes? Are your headshots and resume up to date? Are you in a creative writing class? I don't know, whatever it takes for you to be prepared at that mm-hmm. time. When it's ready and it's yours, it's going to knock at the door. You open it, you walk out with your bags. Be ready for it. Right. But yeah, I try not to live in the, oh, that could have been mine, or, oh my God, because that's just dangerous. Right. It doesn't do anything for you but drag you or make you feel inadequate, or mm-hmm. Cause you to stumble because your blinders are looking everywhere. I mean, you're looking everywhere instead of your blinders. Yes. Of the focus and the goal that's for you. Right. Like a rainbow. Right. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I mean, I believe everybody should have a Michael Franklin in their corner, and I'm lucky I have one. Well, look at you. And everybody should have a Brittany Rizzo Rogue in your corner. She will absorb it. She will correct you. She will put you on point. She's talented and beautiful. Here we go. Love story. Oh my gosh. No, this is the interview I want. Yeah. Tell me more. She's what? Talented and beautiful. But you are, thank you. I love you. You are always taking in art as well. Every time your story, you're always at the movies, you're always watching something new, and you're always working on an audition. So that's just another side note for people to like, this is all consuming for you, and there is no plan B, and it is working for you. And because you have made up your mind that it will. And I mean, we keep, honing in on this, but I truly, I just believe in what you do. I believe in you, and I think it's great. Is there a scene that you remember from a specific TV show or movie that just completely changed your life? There a scene that hit you so powerfully? I don't have just one. Like, I feel like I go in phases, mm-hmm. and I know we're going to go back to scenes and powerful scenes that have moved me. But I, at this phase right now, pay attention to or listen to actors who went through the same things, and what did they do to survive them. Yep. You know what I mean? Those kind of things right now are the things that are moving me. If I talk about specific scene, I can pick, I don't know, What's Love Got to Do with It? With Angela Bassett as Tina. And she got to the point where she was fed up. She was tired of getting beat, and it was time to go. And nothing could have stopped her from leaving. She didn't want to take anything and whatever. She was just tired, and she, to the point of exhaustion, where I went for myself, like where I'm from is kind of like a box. Like everybody knows everybody. Everybody wants to do the same thing. And I've always been the black sheep. I'm black. But I've always been like the person who was kind of like, when I go to a new school, I'm the person that, the bully wants to fight. I always stood out in some kind of way. And I didn't know that stood out was actually for me to go and stand out, to go be separate. Instead of forcing myself to be with the pack. So once you get to a point of exhaustion of that, of always being
the one to stand out for me, or the one who is focused on
defending yourself,
defending myself. It was like, I need to leave. I need to get out of here. I need to go. And I need to go be around people who are doing the same things, thinking the same ways, understanding that dreams do come true and are possible to manifest before you. Yeah. So like Tina getting battered and abused and mistreated, pushed to the point of exhaustion. When I watched that scene and she's like, you know what, fight me, and what's love got to do with, they literally have a fight. And she, for the first time ever, she fights back. She gets out, she leaves. She left everything behind her except her name. And now she's Tina Turner. And watching that as a younger guy, I would literally go, I'm Tina.
That is so funny.
I'm Tina and Ike is Stockton. I'm from Stockton as well. Yeah. So it was time to go.
Yeah.
But that was one that stood out.
When you say like you like to look up actors and seeing what they've been through and how they've got through it, who's the one actor that you find yourself looking up a lot? Okay, so Matt Damon, Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman. Yeah. So Matt Damon, and I know a lot of people don't say Matt Damon. I'm saying Matt Damon. He's an incredible actor and he's had an incredible career. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty good person to look up to.
His personal view is you might be more talented. You might be more attractive. You might know more people, but you will not outwork me. And I will not give up. So that resonates with me. Morgan Freeman, he actually didn't make it until late in life. People think that you're supposed to make it at 20 and 30 and 40 and 45. He made it really, really late in life at a high caliber. So who's to say what, don't give up, because you won't fail if you don't give up. And Denzel says it like this: work, push. His is push and pray. And that's me too. Push and pray, push and pray, push and pray. Watch what you say. Don't speak negative on yourself. What's for you is for you. What's not, you will not get. And push and be prepared. That's those three guys. I can name like on and on and on and on and on. But right now it's just like, sometimes I'll go to YouTube and play it and have like 2 hours of these actors, what happened in the road to success. I think it was Ethan Hawke who said that, it's a lot of people were going for this one role back in the day. And I believe Edward Norton booked it. And he was like, we will see these people at different auditions, and you go back and forth and you know them and you're like, oh my God, that guy made it. And he said, I personally never envied anyone. I wasn't like, I wanted to be them, because I know what was going to happen for me if I didn't give up. And I go, the ongoing theme with all these actors who've made it successful, and they all say one thing, one line that you think is just like a throwaway, like, oh yeah, never give up. Right. No, they say never give up and work hard. Right. Tyler Perry slept in a car. Right. Like, are you serious? You wrote a script in a car, and then the $350 million guy or whatever. Right. Totally agree. And I follow this other podcast account. She's One Broke Actress, and she has a lot of people on, and she had posted, there's an actress who's on White Lotus right now. I don't know if you're watching that show. I have a love-hate relationship with this show. The first season of White Lotus did not love. Amazing. I did not like it. The second season I like a lot, mostly because I love Aubrey Plaza, and I do think Italy is more beautiful to look at, and I just think this storyline is more intriguing to me. But the first season, I was just like, I could skip 2 or 3 episodes and I still knew exactly what was going on. Like, it was too slow. But there's a woman now, of course, her name is escaping me, which is gonna piss people off if they're listening. They're like, it's this person. She had worked on something
with her in 2013, way back when. And it was like this really small project or like an audition she had with her maybe. And her caption was like, "This is the long game. Your number is coming." And it is so true because, you know, my friend Liz and I always talk about it. She's like, "Brittany, you have to think about it." Because when I'm going, you know, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm doing a podcast, which I love doing this. Like I was so tired. And then I light up when I start doing this. I love doing this. But then I feel like then my acting career gets further away the closer I get to this, which I already know what you're going to say. Like this is that can open doors for other things.
Right.
But that's what she had said too. Like you have to imagine the acting world. Like you said, you keep working and working and working and you keep your focus, but you're at a deli counter. Your number just hasn't been called yet. It will get called. Your number at the counter just has not been called yet. And so I've really been trying to hold on to that. And
mindset will take you a long, long way. And also, like, we all have our idea of what we think is success. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like along the path of your specific success goal, there's going to be things that catapult you and fast track you, I believe.
Right.
And I can't say that I'm specifically going through anything that's catapulting me up to, oh my God. But at the same time, there's that one thing that I won't say it distracts you. It aids in what you do, and it also propels you forward. But it's not specifically that one thing that you're looking to do. Like, okay, so this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, for example, you want to be the next A-lister, or you want to just, you want to be a series regular or whatever it is. Okay, you have the audition. The audition is great. You get great feedback. They want you. They have you, in mind. But to sit there and obsess and cry or like mentally drive yourself crazy, waiting for that specific call or that specific audition, mm-hmm. You have other things that take your mind off of it. And two, it's that meantime stuff.
Right.
And at the same time, usually what's funny is the thing that you have in the meantime also is the thing that catapults you to the next level, I think.
Right. No, you know what? It honestly has. And I think it's helping me in a sense of finding my confidence. As I do more and more interviews, I'm not as nervous. I definitely feel like I have become a better listener. And what do you have to be a good actor? A better listener. So, he said, yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. Exactly.
So but you have those thoughts of like, if I'm not doing this, then I'm doing that, and I'm doing this, so I'm not doing that. And I think it's my own shit, my own insecurity, or like my own, just like that panic that you get sometimes. And I think, as you get older and you see, it's the comparison game. You see this person is doing this person is doing that, this person's this, and then you're like, well, wait. But then, you don't know if they're at home looking at your social media, like, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing that. And like hearing this from a friend. And, my parents went to a hockey game, and they had no idea who it was, came up to them and was like, oh my God, you must be so proud of Brittany. She's doing this podcast. And my parents told me, and I was like, I don't know who that is. But I was like, oh, that's amazing that like someone from back home is even attuned to like what I'm doing right now. And I love that. So all that being said, we've chatted a lot about a lot of different things in the past hour. Yes. I wanted to ask you, well, one, if there was one piece of advice that you wish somebody would have given you in the beginning of your acting career, what would it be?
When I first started out, I wish someone wouldn't have told me that to become an actor is 20 years. 20
years?
Yeah. Someone said that to me. To become an actor is 20 years. And I mean, I understand what they mean now. But back then, I didn't really get that. Because I was like, no, I'm going to make it as an actor next year. But I really wish that someone had told me not to compare myself to the next person.
Yeah.
I really like working actors who were like, and I also really wish working actors would tell the truth on the steps that they took to get to what catapulted. Like, I wish working actors would have told me the steps that they took to get to where they went, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It's the gatekeeping. It's the, and you have always been, and we've talked about this. Like, I think it was Reese Witherspoon I heard on a podcast saying, you are only a good leader if you're looking behind you to see who needs help. And you have always done that for me of like, I couldn't get an agent or manager. So what did you do? Hey, I got this friend. Yeah. Like, you have never been the type of person to, it's like, if I'm eating good, everybody's eating good. And I think in the beginning of, my career too, or moving out to LA, like, it took, I would say, 1.5 years of living out here before I met all of you, my close friends. And it was like, again, I wish that time, I mean, everything happens for a reason. Timing is everything, but you're just like, you move out here and you have this idea in your head and nobody is telling you how to navigate anything. And you want somebody to like, you're like, damn, I wish I had like a mentor, somebody to take me under their wing. But when that person does come along, it's that much more special and you appreciate it much more. And you have the wisdom to go, I'm going to listen.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think that, the mystery of acting, like there's a lot of different ways you can go, but there's certain things that you need to have had or have. I wish somebody told me, stay in class and work on your craft. Mm-hmm. And your time, your number will be pulled. Mm-hmm. Like, I was in class where this one was on Glee and this one got the Vampire Diaries and this one is on the CW. And I was like, I want to do that. I want, like I had it in me that I wanted to do these things and not compete with them. But at the same time, it's like when you're in a circle of people and everybody's looking around you, you're like, wait, what am I doing wrong? What do they know that I don't?
Right. You're like, is this thing on?
I know that I don't got.
Right.
And, certain people for whatever reason will keep that mystery. And it just seemed like they went one day to one audition and then now you're Supergirl. Mm-hmm. That's the illusion of it. Mm-hmm. Nobody saw her crying after audition. She'd been into that office like 16 million different times.
Right.
And now, she has a co-star to make her credible. I don't know. I'm just,
no, it's true. But like to add to your point, like I was just watching Viola Davis and Jennifer Lawrence on Actors on Actors. And Viola Davis was saying the same thing of like, nobody wants to show you their shit. Nobody wants to show you the realness. And I think that is why I really love doing this podcast, is because that's what I want to get to. I want people to know that if you are trying to get into LA or this industry, or if you are having a hard time with your mental health, like you're not alone in any of that. And like, there are people who will help you, who will guide you, whether it be in your career, even if it's acting or, in real estate, I don't know, whatever you do, there are people who are going to help you. And not to be cheesy, but like Mr. Rogers says, you look for the helpers. That's what you do. And like,
yes, Mr. Rogers.
But it's like, I think, the girl who is hiding that, like, yeah, have your privacy, but also like, I'm just way more attracted to people who are open and real and honest and raw. Like, it's just way more attractive to me.
Yeah, it is. I feel like there are gatekeepers who hold knowledge, mm-hmm. and it could be as simple as making actors access.
Right.
Okay. It can be as simple as, I know it looks great to become SAG immediately, mm-mm. but it's not the best for a career that you don't have any credits.
Right.
It's not. You need to go and get some footage of your acting. Now they have different studios that create footage, but mm-hmm. I wish somebody would have told me that it's okay not to become SAG immediately, if it's going to help you get more footage to show off the ability that could ultimately show your work. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they're like, oh no, you know, agents, managers, they'll push you to become SAG, which is great. I get it. It's more money, but pushing to become SAG. And now you're kind of like stuck in this place where you can't do any filming or anything like that. I have this thing where it's like with people, they will force you to do certain moves that are beneficial for them. And they don't tell you why they're beneficial for them. And ultimately it screws you in the long run.
Right.
And if someone had told me, don't become SAG, go to class and study and work non-union projects and get some footage so I can walk into an agent and get signed, or walk into an agent and get some type of representation after being tapped hardly, or whatever situation it is, I would have listened.
Right. Right.
But I was pushed. Oh, no, you have to. You know, the people around you, are you SAG? Are you SAG?
Right.
I don't even have no footage, but sure, I'm enjoying SAG.
Yeah. And, you know, to wrap this all up, it goes back to, you know, you want to do for others what you would want for yourself. And then you pull from the people that have given you advice, and then you pass that torch, you pass that flame. Be willing to share. I'm a firm believer that you give, you'll receive. And not whatever, like people always try to use the quote, you reap what you sow, in a negative way. But you're like, I'm sowing a lot of good shit.
Exactly. You reap what you sow is not always like you reap bad because you did bad. Sometimes if you sow when helping with someone with, okay, I don't know, a project, or you sow and picking up someone from the airport, or you sow at donating to this person's student film, you reap those things. This is just my belief.
Right.
You reap those things. And like, be okay with sowing wisdom and sowing information. Because when you do that, you reap information, you reap wisdom. People, you wondering why, like, you know, the big secret, they're literally things that can, you know, catapult your career in certain ways.
I totally understand what you're saying. Tell everybody about Lady in the Lake, where they can watch you, because I'm really excited about this. Unless you don't want to, you're like this bitch. I just want people, like, I want you to share your experience with working on this set, and where people can tune in, and where people can follow you on Instagram so that they can follow your journey. Okay.
Well, if you want to follow my dream, you can Instagram me, Mr. Franklin 101. And then, you know, obviously IMDb, Michael Franklin. And then as far as my experience on Lady in the Lake, it was a great experience. Working with like legendary actors, and to see them work and their ethic and how they treat people on set. Like Natalie Portman was amazing. Moses Ingram was amazing. Alma Harrell, which is the director, amazing, creative. To see these people in our element, I won't say their element, see them in our element was just a beautiful sight. And yeah, so if you want to follow me, check me out. I'm around.
Well, I love you. Congratulations on literally everything. I mean, I don't even have words. I mean, I think I've expressed throughout this entire podcast, I'm always in awe of you. I'm always proud of you. I know that your journey has not always been easy. And you've always made things happen. You've always kept working, and you are living, you know, by the words that inspire you, which is work hard, push, pray.
Yes, you wrap me up. That's it. Work hard, push, pray. And I'm through.
Bye.
Bye.